So, I am studying the Bible this morning. This is day 3 of my morning Bible study. I am in James, the book of James. If you have not studied James, this is a really good book. This morning I'm on chapter 3, and chapter 3 is talking about controlling the tongue. This is something that in past times I was not able to do. And I would just, say whatever came to mind. I would speak harshly, I would try to, I don't think that anything that I ever spoke was really intentional. I think that I would always speak based off emotion. And this, my minister said in worship service, I believe it was this past Sunday, to watch how you speak to people and what you say, because once it's said and the damage is done, you can't take it back. You can apologize, but the hurt that you caused, the damage that you caused is already there, and the words that you spoke are already there. You can't take it back. And I'm just like, how fitting is it that I'm reading this several days after he had given that sermon? Because the things that he spoke, and he wasn't even speaking on controlling your tongue. That came up in the middle of the sermon that he was giving. But in chapter 3, verses 5, I'm going to start with verse 5. It says, "In the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set great forests on fire. And among all the parts of the body, the tongue is a flame of fire." And I have a study Bible, so at the bottom of the chapters, there's a breakdown. And in chapter 6, it says, James compares careless and hurtful words to a raging fire. An uncontrolled tongue can do terrible damage. Satan uses words and speech to divide people and pit them against one another. When a person loses their temper, their impulsive and hateful words spread destruction quickly, and no one can stop the results once they are spoken. We dare not be careless with what we say, thinking we can apologize later, because even if we do, the scars will remain. A few words spoken in anger can destroy a relationship that has taken years to build. Before you speak, remember that words are like fire, and you can neither control nor reverse the damage they do. And I can honestly say that I'm in a much better space in controlling my tongue today, and I thank God for that, because I know that my words caused a lot of people damage in my past. And reading this and reflecting on this, I am so remorseful for that, because as the word says, and as we know from experience, if we've ever said anything hurtful, or if anybody have ever said anything hurtful to us, we know that you cannot take words back. So I have learned over the years to be more intentional with my words. I actually take the time to respond, whether it's through text or conversation. I know that you can't take words back, and I know to be more intentional with my words these days, because I don't want to say the wrong things. And it's okay to think certain things, but let's just be honest, like, everything that we're thinking doesn't need to be said. And if it is said, we need to be intentional with even the way that we put the things that we're saying into words, because you can mean things a certain way, but then they come out a whole nother way. So I'm just learning to be intentional with my words. I've realized, just over those years of being unintentional and just speaking whatever comes to mind, it did ruin and cause damage to a lot of my relationships in the past with, family members, with friends, with even saying, hurtful things to my spouse, my husband in the past. And I knew that my tongue was brutal, and I knew that, looking back, I can't say that I knew in the time, because I think that I needed a lot of work. Like I was hurting, I was in pain, I was, reacting like out of grief and trauma, and I'm not trying to justify it at all, because there's no justification. When you know better, you do better. And I'm just in a space of doing better. I am truly in a space of wanting to grow and be intentional with my words, with my relationships, because I want better relationships with my family, with, the friends that I do have. So in that, I have learned the importance of controlling my tongue, because all of us are facing something and dealing with and going through something. It pays nothing or it costs nothing to just be kind. It costs nothing to just be intentional. You don't have to feel like you have to respond to a text the minute that you get it. In fact, I don't ever do that. And if I do, it's very rare. And it's because it's, a short response and doesn't require much. But text messages that require me to think or be intentional, I don't respond back right then, because maybe the first thought that came to mind wasn't what I need to say. Or, maybe I just need to word my response more carefully, because I realize or recognize that a person is coming from a, hurt place, or, just whatever the case is. Just be intentional with your words is what I'm saying, because you can't take them back, and that's one thing that I know for sure. I still replay things that were spoken to me, things that were said to me from years ago. And I'm not saying that I am holding a grudge or holding or dwelling on those things. It's just that those things don't leave your memory, even when you're healed from those things. So I just wanted to record my Bible study this morning and speak on this, because I feel there may be someone that needs to hear this. And if you haven't read James, I want to encourage you to read the book of James. It is a really, really good book. And journal, write some notes from your Bible study, and just be intentional with your words. Until next time, peace and love.